Welcome back to Soniagogy Integration Academy. I'm Chewy. In the last video, we worked on meditation and visualization. You started learning how to sit with your mind, how to notice your thoughts, and how to bring your attention back when it drifts. And if you actually tried it, you probably noticed something real quick. Your mind doesn't sit still, does it? You might still for a second, then it starts running on you. It moves a lot. And that's not the problem. That's the design of your mind, because your mind is always thinking, and it tends to think in patterns. And those patterns repeat. And whatever repeats starts to feel familiar. You've heard this before. So if the same thoughts keep showing up, the same reactions tend to follow. And over time, you start seeing the same results play out over and over again. And that's where most people get frustrated. They say, I know better, so why do I keep doing the same thing over? And the answer is simple, because knowing something and training something are two different things. So now let's move into the next layer, neural rehearsal and deep emotional training. And this is where we stop waiting for life to test you and you start preparing your system ahead of time. Think about it like this. Most people only try to change in the moment. So in the moment of stress, in the moment of anger, in the conversation, they 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 start to feel it in their body, and then they forget about everything that they may have practiced or what was just intellectual knowledge. So when something happens, they get triggered and the body reacts. And they try to fix it right there in the moment, when you're getting yelled at or when you're feeling heated. That's like trying to learn how to swim after you already fell into the water. You might figure something out, but chances are you're just trying to survive the moment. Neural rehearsal works differently. You take the moment when you're calm and you bring up a situation that usually gets to you. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a tone that your partner uses or your boss uses. Maybe it's that one person who knows exactly how to push your buttons. You already know the moment. You've lived it before, but now instead of letting it run the same way, you begin to change it in your mind first. You see it happen, and this time you see yourself staying grounded. You hear the same tone, and you don't get pulled in the same way. You feel that familiar tension in your chest, but instead of reacting, you stay with it. You pause, you take a breath, and you choose your response. At first, it might feel a little weird because it's new, but you keep doing it. You run it again, and then you do it again. And then something cool begins to happen. Your system begins to recognize this version of you because you've seen it and you've actually felt it in your body. And because you've practiced it, so when the real moment shows up, it's not the first time anymore. It feels familiar because you've been repeating it. And that's everything. Because your system will always lean towards what is familiar, what has been practiced the most, even if that old pattern didn't serve you in the past. So now let's bring it into being real, into real life. You're at home. Your partner says something sharp. And that tone, as always, before you feel it instantly in your body. Your chest tightens, your voice shifts, you react, and now you're in it. But now something different happens. You recognize the moment, almost like I've seen this before. Your chest tightens. That part doesn't disappear, but you don't follow it. You pause, you breathe, you stay present just long enough, and now you respond instead of react. So, same situation and a different outcome. Not because the world changed for you, because you trained it differently. Now let's go a little deeper. Because changing the response is one part, but understanding what's underneath it, that's where the real freedom begins to show up. And this is called deep emotional training because behind every reaction, there is something you're feeling. And behind that feeling, there's usually something that's been there for a while. And most people don't stay there long enough to see it because they keep themselves busy, scrolling, being on their computers, working, distracting themselves, and staying busy keeps them from feeling. which keeps the pattern in place. I've seen this over and over again. It was in me as well. Now, other people will hold it in. They don't say anything. They don't want to cause a problem. They don't want to make things worse. And holding it in builds pressure, which eventually comes out anyway, doesn't it? Eventually, it's loud. Or they find ways to escape it. TV, food, constant distraction, staying constantly occupied. And escape, and what happens is they accept the delays, which means it shows up later again anyway, because what you don't face doesn't disappear. It waits in the background. So here we do something different. You stay with the feeling, not get stuck in it, but to understand it. You feel it in your body. The tightness is just tight. The discomfort was just discomfort. That shift in your chest or stomach, and instead of reacting to it, you just stay with it. You breathe through it. You're like, okay, I feel tension. Breathe. Okay, what's going on? And you can't evaluate by listening to your breath and going, I notice the tension in my body. You give it space. And then you begin to notice what's really underneath this. Is it frustration? Is it hurt? Is it anger? Maybe you don't feel seen. Maybe it's just tension. It's that feeling of not being enough. Because once you start seeing what's underneath, the reaction starts to make sense. And when it makes sense, it begins to lose its grip. So let's go back to that same moment, that tone, and that same situation. But now I want you to imagine. You feel that what's underneath it, you feel the discomfort, and instead of pulling it away, you stay with it. You breathe. You allow it to be there, and slowly the intensity begins to drop. And then something else starts to come in, clarity. And from this place, you choose, not from reaction, but from awareness. And that's how patterns change, not by forcing yourself and not by trying to overpower it, but by training your system differently. Neural rehearsal prepares the response, and deep emotional training processes what's underneath it. Together, they start to rewire how you move through life. Now, you're not stuck in the same reaction. You're building new responses. That way, you're not getting pulled in every direction and by every moment. You're learning how to lead yourself through it. And this is where change becomes real. Not something you think about, it's something that you begin to live. And like everything we're doing here, this takes practice because in calm moments, this makes sense. But when you're activated, you're triggered, when your body's already lit up, when your mind is moving fast, most people won't even remember to do this because the system goes back to what it knows. And the familiar pattern runs faster than a new one because it hasn't been integrated in. You haven't practiced enough. Imagine starting a new job and you're learning, the processes of how to do things. It takes you a little while to get up to speed. And then once you're up to speed, you got it. So you catch one moment, then another, and then another. And over time, your system starts choosing this on its own because you've practiced it enough. That's when it sticks. Now, in the next video, we keep building. We move into self-affirmations and positive intention. How to reinforce new identity and start directing your system forward. That's Soniagogy, the dojo of the mind, where we take you from knowing to doing to being. Join us, join the revolution, and take back the power from your patterns that have been running your life. They show up in how you react under pressure, how you show up in relationships at work, with your boss, coworkers, with friends, and with family. Dinner, Thanksgiving, all that fun stuff, and especially with your partner. And the results you keep getting in life, that shows up there too. I did, and let me show you how, just like I've shown my Pathfinders before you. So follow me here, give me a thumbs up if you like the content, and please share the video with someone who may need to see this. And please join the Soniagogy community. If you're ready to train this, not just understand it, visit soniagogy.com. You will also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just type in Soniagogy. Thank you for being here, and until next time, be well and take care.